Alright guys, welcome back to the channel where today we have some interesting news surrounding content that was cut from MyRise, as various modders within the community have shared details of a storyline which was centered around Bray Wyatt, the Fiend and Dana Brooke. So we're going to cover this story in today's video and what was originally planned for it, but before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all the latest news on WWE 2K, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on future videos. So let's talk about the content that was removed, as various modders within the community such as What's the Status, Joe Mashups, Hanley's and Pepsi Guy 2, they've all been sharing details on some of the content that they've found when browsing WWE 2K22's files, as a lot of the content they've found reveals additional storylines that were initially planned to take place in MyRise, though these storylines were removed due to them featuring stars who left the company during development. Of the content found, 2 additional storylines have been revealed so far, one of which was a storyline that involved Adam Cole, and that seen him feud with the MyPlayer over the Intercontinental Championship, while the other storyline, which is the one that we're going to cover today, that featured a fully fleshed out story involving Bray Wyatt and the Fiend as they took control of Dana Brooke, transforming her into the Shiend. According to the Reddit post, text found within the game notes that this storyline would see the Fiend make his return, where he would be paired up with Dana Brooke, with Dana under control of the Fiend. This would then lead to the MyPlayer teaming up with partners who have a history with the Fiend to take on the pairing of Bray Wyatt and Dana. These matches would ultimately lead to the MyPlayer being overtaken by the Fiend and placed under his control, leading to a segment in which the SmackDown general manager would approach Bray Wyatt and beg for him to release the superstar from his control. Without seeing the cutscenes play out, it's hard to make sense of some of the dialogue and work out whether the player is placed under the control of Bray or if it's another superstar. However, later dialogue appears to show the SmackDown general manager telling the player that the Fiend's power lies within his lantern, suggesting that the player steal the lantern and take his power, destroying the Fiend in the process. Following this dialogue, the player then steals the lantern from the Fiend, only to find that the power of the lantern causes them to become possessed, before it's revealed that it was Bray's plan to have the player steal the lantern all along so that they would end up under his control. The story then sees the player under the control of Bray Wyatt as they face off against the Fiend at Hell in a Cell, with the player going on to win the match and break free from his control. The story then shifts to include Alexa Bliss, who it notes was Bray's former associate before she was manipulated by Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, with Alexa now set to get her revenge as she faces off against Dana Brooke, who has now been fully transformed into the Shiend. Following Dana's transformation, this leads to a match which is billed as an Elimination Chamber of Horrors match, with dialogue for what appears to have been a Firefly Funhouse segment, with this segment voiced by Bray Wyatt, who teases the chamber will feature the appearance of some new friends. Following this promo, the dialogue goes on to note the transformation of Dana and a special episode of the Firefly Funhouse where Bray introduces Dana as the Shiend. Reading this part at the end, it's possible that some of the ordering on this text is misplaced, as the Shiend is mentioned earlier in the promo despite the reveal of the Shiend in the Funhouse coming at the end. So without seeing the planned cutscenes or having this play out in the correct order, it does make it a little bit hard to follow, but the overall storyline sounds like it would have been one of the better stories, as not only did it feature backstage promos and matches, but it would have also introduced the Firefly Funhouse. Along with the subtitle text that revealed the Firefly Funhouse segments, WWE Games modder Hanley's shared this screenshot which shows off the planned set for the Firefly Funhouse. Alongside this screenshot, modder Joe Mashups also shared images of unused models for Abby the Witch and Mercy the Buzzard, therefore I'd imagine that these models were originally set to be featured in the Funhouse, and perhaps they were also planned to appear in the Chamber of Horrors match, as it would have been interesting to see them placed inside of the chambers. So it's a shame to see that this story was cut, especially when you consider that some of the other stars that were released are still featured in the game, as guys like Murphy were allowed to stay in, while the bigger names like Bray Wyatt, Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan were all removed. So this story, featuring Bray and Dana, seems to have been the biggest find so far, but there have also been smaller things found, such as crowd signs for Daniel Bryan or textures for Nikki Bella, so it'll be interesting to see what else modders find as time goes on. So let me know what you make of these new findings in the comments, and what you think of the idea for a Bray Wyatt, Fiend, Dana Brooke, Shiend storyline. I'm really gutted that it was taken out, as I thought this would have been one of the better stories, but I would love to know what you make of it based on the dialogue. So let me know what you think in the comments, and while you're there, if you're not already, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications to stay up to date with all the latest news on WWE 2K. Until next time though, thank you so much for watching this video, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.